Yo, it's your boy Icy Jones. Once again on this Thursday morning. Hot Seat with Icy Jones on hot7025fm.com. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate everybody tuning in all over the world. Anyway, you locked into the hottest radio station in the city, Hot 7025. Thank you again for tuning in. Listen, I got a great special guest in the building this morning, a good friend of mine. You know, we go back a couple years. You smell me. She out here doing her thing with these events and these artists and some more stuff. So we're going to get into it with Erika Nicole. What's happening with you, huh?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How you do?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So talk to me about what we got coming up. So that way people know what's going on. First and foremost, let's get the particulars out the way with the PR. Let's do what you got coming up. What's popping?
The Ambiance Group has a few events coming up. We have a headshot party. We launched them here. A lot of artists, a lot of personalities need headshots. Okay. No matter what you do, if your face ever appears on a flyer, you should definitely have a professional headshot.
Correct.
So we found a way to provide headshots at
and
discounted, updated headshots. Yeah. So we're doing a headshot party on this Saturday.
Okay.
The one in Vegas sold out.
Right.
Totally stoked about it. It was a crazy concept, and Vegas bit, and we're flowing with it. So.
And now you own a North Cal, right?
Now I'm on to Northern Cal,
Gotcha.
and then June we have Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bet. And then you just showed me a flyer, vocal.
Yes, vocal. So it's the voices of California, Chicago, Cali, Chicago, Las Vegas.
Right.
So we're collaborating with Just Flow for that, and Just Flow Entertainment.
Right.
That'll be at Legends
Okay.
on. So that's Danny Boy spot. So there'll be a live performance by Danny Boy that night.
Dope.
But it's vocal at Ambiance. So
Okay.
we've always done live performance or open mic for emerging artists,
Right.
and for we do singing, and we do spoken word as well. But this one is really dedicated to the poets.
Okay.
So there's 10 poets. We'll have a performance by Danny Boy, and we'll have a couple band performances just to break up the poetry. But they're on tour, so they did Chicago, then they're doing Vegas, and then they're doing LA. So
right.
yeah, just a couple things. Nothing major though.
Just a couple things. Nothing major. We just breaking new ground with headshot parties and stuff. You feel me?
Yeah, man.
Hey, that's dope. So where did that idea come from?
The company, the Ambiance Group, we do branding, marketing, and promotion, social media management, all that. So we wanted a way to be able to attack branding from a very small aspect of it. So it starts with the image. I believe your headshot says a lot to your potential client, to your potential audience. It introduces you before they ever meet you,
right? Or
even after they've met you. If your avatar, your profile pic, if it is one of your professional shots, whether it represents you. Yeah. So I wanted to be able to help people. I mean, I believe I'm a servant, so I wanted to be able to serve my community by providing an affordable way to capture some professional, high quality, high resolution photos.
Absolutely. I can dig it. And then when it comes to the vocal event, right, what made you say I want to highlight these poets?
We had Ambiance set up for May 18th. The tour was coming to town. Just Flow hit me like, hey, let's collaborate. So I was like, I believe it's amazing when two queens can get together. We support each other. No egos, no one personality is bigger than the other. We just out here trying to support art and support music and support the art of spoken word and poetry as well. Okay.
Do you have any hidden talents? Do you do any front ground microphone?
You know what? No.
Artistic.
I sang growing up, and then at some point, those that don't sing, they manage. So I just tapped into the management side. It's safer there. So now I just promote other singers and poets and rappers and stuff like that, and itinerant preachers. It's better. It's safer.
Younger, like how young ago?
I would dare to say that I had to do the national anthem at a couple of school events in high school. We sang at our high school breakfast. It all started this group of friends. But I grew up in church, so you sing in church.
Yeah.
You have no
Where
choice.
did you grow up at?
I grew up in Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I seen a high school picture you shared, TBT. What were you doing on that? Was you hosting something?
I was.
What you
I
was
was
hosting?
actually hosting our welcome back pep rally.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a huge. It's a huge. We do a parade of all the clubs, and yeah. So like, this
So-
isn't new for me.
Right.
Like, this is
I mean,
this is-
you had to share that to let it be known. I've been doing this. I'm known for this.
No, it's just that I think sometimes, we have to appreciate our process.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we may forget, like we go through things and we forget who we are as ourselves.
Okay.
So sometimes we have to remind ourselves, like, you're not new. This isn't new. You're dealing with new struggles, but this is who you've always been.
Right.
You've evolved.
Yeah.
You understand? Like,
Yeah.
God may have opened new doors or whatever. Your platform may have expanded, but this is still who you've always been.
Correct.
So don't trip out and think that you suck now.
Real talk. I can dig it. So when it comes to like events, right? Were you doing them in high school? Were you doing parties?
Yeah, I was. Like, I planned our prom. I planned our homecoming from 10th grade on. So even that, like, I think that same day I posted a picture, like the first wedding I ever
it
did.
was a wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that our gifts, like, are, what you're really good at, you're talented. I'm pretty sure we can date back. You probably were spitting rhymes before you can remember, or in some way you were drawn to it, right? So, that was 16 years ago. My first wedding I ever did, it was, believe it or not, it was in Erika Campbell's backyard, Mary.
Yeah.
It was one of her best friends. They hired me to do a wedding, and I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, that was mind blowing as well. Like, you've been connected to a lot of celebrities for a long time. And it's like, I think it's an energy you put out that brings you to certain people in your life. You know what I mean? I don't know what that energy is, but you've always been connected to these people. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty dope. Do you know what energy you put out that connects you to the celebrity, quote unquote?
I think it has to do with your environment. So, like,
Your
I
surroundings.
was your surrounding. Like, I was raised in Dallas, so in and around church, a lot of my family is in the music industry.
Yeah.
In LA, same thing. Like, my friend, these are my friends. These are not, to me, they're not celebrities. These are my friends who pursued their craft or their dreams, and they made it.
Right.
That's how I look at it. So I think a lot of it has to do, though, with the realm. So if that's the energy, like, I believe that I know what realms that I sit in.
Yeah.
Without being all spooky.
No.
Like,
Hey, we in 2019. If you don't understand a realm, there's something wrong with you.
but it's just the positive energy, or being able to always produce for those people.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that my name is always synonymous with execution and integrity and positive results and good vibes. And I think that if that's what I'm radiating, then the law of magnetism is bringing those things back in. So, yeah.
I like the word execution. So when did you know that I have to execute this thing, no matter, like, whoever's around me, who's ever helping, if they don't show up, I still got to execute in order for this thing to go right, for my name's sake?
You want to know the truth?
I do.
When it became real to me is, I took a break. I stopped. I had gone through, a divorce, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm good on all of this. I thought. I was up for like 6 days, and I slept for like 2 hours. It was, my passion was so alive in me. As much as I wanted to kill it, it wouldn't let me sleep. And I was like, okay, I don't have a choice. And that's when you saw the relaunch. That's when you saw me say, okay, I'm going to do Ambiance Lounge again. And if I have to do it, then I'm going to embrace management, or, from the side of artist management or whatever, I'm going to embrace it. And so no matter, I guess, people's opinions, they weren't there the nights that I cried. People's opinions or their support weren't there the days that I was like, how am I going to make it? You understand? So it became bigger than anything else. Any other opposing force, my dream became bigger than.
So let's talk about that. So in those 6 days, and 2 hours of sleep, what was that process? What is that? What does that look like to you?
Frustration.
Is it like, no, that's dope, but not dope. But I'm saying when you use that word, and that's the first thing you think of, right? But you said it wouldn't let you sleep. So are these visions, is your brain just working on like all the next things to come? Like, what kept you grounded and said, this is it though, I gotta do it? So what does that process look like in those 6 days and 2 hours?
Yeah, it did. It looked like there was a reoccurring dream.
Right.
A vision, a reoccurring. I can always see a thing. So if I sit down and talk to I don't do weddings anymore, but when I would talk to brides, they would talk to me, and I could visualize what it was.
Okay.
So much so that I'm like, oh, you're saying these colors, I see peacocks. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love peacocks. So then I realized, like, oh, this is really a gift. It was scary, you
Yeah.
know? But so I could see this vision of this huge project that I want to do, that I know I have to do. It's bigger than even where I am now. And that vision kept reappearing. Like, I know what the square footage looks like. I know what the walls look like because I've walked in it. I haven't physically walked in it, but like in my vision, like I could see it. It's tangible in my dreams.
Got it.
Yeah.
How do you mix? I don't even know if it's a mix. So, because we myself, my family, we've of course divvied in The Secret, right? The book, The Secret, the DVD, The Secret. But I knew these things before I ever read The Secret because I read the Holy Bible. Right. It just confirmed for me that it is unlocked inside of you, right? But of course there is a supreme being, which we call God or Yahweh or however you want to say it, because we got issues in our own church on how we say things. But right. So you know both of those situations, but you're telling me that you've seen this vision and you already walked in it. What does that feel like to know that you have to do that? Is it a burning desire? What does that feel like?
It feels like a responsibility. Because that there are people tied to me or me executing that I don't know. So
True.
when our light shines, we enable others to let theirs. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be tapping. To allow theirs to shine as well.
Okay.
So what it does is it's a responsibility. So you take it, you embrace it, and then you're like, okay, this, no matter what, I have to do this. So when I don't feel like it, when when there's more month than money, like because that happens to visionaries, or and when you're really dedicated to it, you're investing in it, your time, or when you've heard the no, it's bigger than that, because it's this thing that you're pushing towards. So I know it's gonna happen, just like when, I don't know, were you there the night that you were in there for the first launch of Ambiance, like May 26, 2012? I had carried that thing for 3 years.
Okay.
I saw the room, I saw the candles, I saw the tablecloths, I saw it all.
Right.
And so it took a friend of mine. We met up. I hadn't talked to him in 7 years. He said, everything you said you were going to do 10 years ago, you're doing now.
Right.
And so that was my motivation to be like, oh, okay, so everything that I see is going to happen.
Yeah.
You understand? But we frame our world with our words, with our visions. Vision boards have become like cliche or whatever.
Correct.
But they're real.
Yes.
Like, because if you go back to the book, The Secret, we frame it. The law of magnetism is real. Like, what we say, who we surround ourselves with, around, those things, they become an imminent force.
Again, that's the realm we in.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in a certain realm, I was gangbanging. So guess what? I was getting shot at. I was getting put in jail. I was having baby mama drama, right?
Right.
Then you elevate, you know what I mean? And I began to understand that I've been speaking my life into existence since I was a kid. And I really had to understand how powerful I was, you know what I mean? And I had to remove myself from those situations. They always would tell me, though, when I go to the streets, you don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to go be doing whatever else that you talk about, you know what I mean? So I had to understand I don't have to show that I'm strong or show that I'm a man or a gangster, none of that. Like, I can go be powerful and speak my life into existence. But it also takes work. So what about the process and the journey of work, though?
Oh, it's day in and day out. Like, I mean, up until the time that we went live, I was working on something, but I tried to be present. I remember recently I had a client, and I would bill them out a certain amount of hours. So I had an app on my phone that would clock the hours that I billed them, right? And I was like, wait a minute. I'm billing them hours. I need to make sure that I'm putting in the same amount of hours for the Ambiance group. And that I would tell that to any, visionary or creative or entrepreneur that's currently working like a 9 to 5. I would say, make sure that you're clocking the hours that you're putting into your own vision or your own thing as much as you are. Just like you clock in the hours there, make sure that you're keeping track, because it'll keep you accountable. Like, oh, I only put 5 hours in for myself this week, Yeah. Or I only,
Not enough.
Yeah, but whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I
like-
mean, yeah, I feel you. Now you have children.
I do.
How many you get?
I have 2 children.
2 children.
Mm-hmm.
And how much time do they get from Erika?
They get, so I have a custody agreement.
Okay.
I have them 1 week on, 1 week off.
Right.
So those 7 days, it's weird. It works out great because it allows me to travel.
Right.
I don't condone, but oh well, it
Yeah,
works.
I understand.
I didn't want to split them.
Yeah.
When we did that, I didn't want them to be 3 days with him, 4 days with me.
Yeah, that's too much.
It was just, I want you to have one regiment for
Yeah.
7 days, and then you have the same regiment the 7 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they get time. I mean, there's basketball games. There's and even on the weeks that they're not necessarily at my house, I'm mom. So
Yeah.
I'm still at basketball games. I'm still at practices. I mean, like tonight when I leave here, I'll go work for some clients, and then I gotta go change clothes and be at an orchestra concert. You know, but I want them to see what I do. I think our work ethic sometimes is inspired by watching our parents. And so for me, it was my grandmother. I watched her work, and I watched her provide a very, very good quality of life, you know, in oil and some more stuff in Texas. And so it inspired me. Like, I want to always be comfortable like I was as a kid. So I want my kids to see this, like, okay, well, we have this quality of life because mom works the way that she does.
Yeah.
And in order for me to maintain this, I got to be able to work as well. So I teach them on branding. I teach them on, you know, this whole week we talked about gentrification, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we just, I'll pick random topics, and we have open dialogue. We sit at the table, we talk. You know, I remember I went through a period where my cable was off. And I used that time to be like, okay, you know what? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to learn music. So I went back and pulled out Miles Davis. Like, I pulled out goods like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted them to understand and have a deeper appreciation, you know.
Right. Right.
And they would introduce songs too. It was my son that put me on Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
He loved Dedication. Cool.
Yeah.
So we exchange that way. So they get their time. I try to make sure it's balanced.
Right.
I think it's important.
That's the whole, question is about the balance,
Yeah.
because we do
It's a
put in a lot of
balancing
work. Absolutely. No Cirque du Soleil. So we want to go into this conversation of marriage, right? And the way you said, I don't do weddings no more. Was there a reason you said that?
No, I don't plan or execute or produce weddings anymore.
Okay.
That's
what I mean. Why? Is there a
It's the
reason? Are
time.
you beyond that to now?
It's not like I have a friend that just called me and was like, yo, I'm getting married in January, and I was like, okay, I'll help you as a friend. I mean, I'm probably gonna come out of retirement for her, but that's not something that I promote. People see the ability to put together an event, and they're like, oh my gosh, that means that you can do my wedding. I would rather do like a party or something. You know, it's just
Why?
it's the intricate details of work for me. I just choose not to.
Okay.
They're beautiful things. I believe in the sanctity of marriage. I believe in all of that. No, that's still there.
Okay.
I just don't want to plan weddings.
Okay. I don't know. I feel some type of way about that, though. I don't know if you give me the whole. No, I'm just playing. So when it comes to that, right? I've seen, a beautiful marriage end, but that's from the outside looking in.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what is this about? Like, is this your decision? Is this his decision? Is it a mutual decision? What is this about?
I believe that I had some growing up to do. I believe that I made a couple of choices that probably weren't the best ones. I can only speak for me because he isn't present.
Correct.
So I'll just handle my side of
Absolutely.
it, and I'll own mine. That's all I can do, right? But I think that's why it's important to make sure you take your time when you're dating. You know, and pace yourself. Make sure it's something that you want. Make sure that you get what you want, or that you've, I that's over and it's done. So I'd rather just talk about what it's taught me. Is that cool? Okay. So it taught me to really sit back and write out or think about my non-negotiables, the things that are important to me now, because I'm a different Erika. Like, I've evolved. Like, it shook me. It did. But in that, it made me really sit back and be like, oh, okay. You don't like these things. oh, but you really want these things, and you bring these things, and so I believe because I bring these things, I deserve these things, and so that's what it did for me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Put you
I've been
in
in a very
perspective.
healthy relationship for a little while, and I'm very, very happy. I'm in a very good place of peace. It's good, solid.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Look glowing
You
that one
glow.
right there.
You glow different when you're loved right. That's all. Yeah. So.
Have you ever been taken for granted? You feel like you were taken for granted?
I believe that I can say that I don't believe that I was appreciated the way that I desire to be appreciated. Is that safe?
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. Stop being safe though.
Oh, okay. It's a hot seat.
On Hot 702.5
Okay.
FM.
There
You
we
understand?
go. I'm good. Yeah. It's hot in here. Like, is it a fan? It's hot in here because you own me. No.
It's the hot seat. Hey,
Okay.
y'all tune in to Hot Seat with Icy Jones. We got Erika Nicole. Listen, this is kind of what I do, and I try not to get offensive. You know what I mean? So we do kind of float around and ask a direct question, but it's kind of we get there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to ever offend nobody. Want to ask questions. That's why I asked before. Yo, can we talk? And you say, I'm open, but I love it when they say that. She said, why?
Well,
Because we're going to get to it.
Because what if we are always walking around as if we always have it together, then I'm not helping my fellow sister or brother who is in a struggle right now.
Yeah.
I believe that I'm still in my process. It ain't complete yet.
Yeah.
So my process right now may be a little bit different than the next person's. However, I'd rather be open because like we go to church and we put a whole bunch of hallelujahs and thank you Jesus over a bunch of trash, and then people are wondering like, my life don't look like that because we paint this perfect picture, but it's not a perfect picture. So yeah, ask me anything because I want to be able to hopefully help. If we're servants,
Yeah.
I want to be able to help somebody else.
Yeah. So do you believe that if you weren't born in a Christian household, I know you can't really answer this question, right? But if you weren't born in a Christian household, would you still be a Christian? Do you think you still would be a believer of Christ, or do you think because you're black they will lead you down another road?
Wow, that's a good question. I believe that I would have hoped that I had some kind of experience myself.
Yeah.
So, I believe that in our community, faith is a huge piece.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would be as churchy, but I probably would have some. I mean, I think
Some form of faith.
yeah, because even now I don't think I'm I'm that churchy. I think some of my beliefs people probably like, Erica, you know, but yeah, hopefully, I mean that would be my hope.
Have you ever, as a believer, went down another road and had, I'm finna go back to believing in Christ?
No, I haven't. I remember though coming to the knowledge myself.
Okay.
I had been in a traditional church up until college, and in college I began reading the Word of God for myself and was like, wait, hold on, that ain't Bible, or that Greek ain't the Greek that they taught. Like, you understand that word don't mean that.
Yeah.
Like, so it really enforced the relationship for myself. So like I'm cool on church per se, and I mean no offense to the institution. I am all about kingdom. So kingdom could look like a bunch of poets that don't say Jesus gathering together, and we just the songs that we sing and don't say God or don't say Jesus, but it's inspirational, and we're imparting the good news.
It's just different. It's just different. It's for me. I feel like I've traveled down that road over the past couple of years. You know what I mean? I literally wrote a song called "Go to Church." You know what I mean? And it's because I still believed in the just the body, the person being the temple. You know what I mean? And so we'd get up and go to church. It was the fellowship of the brethren, right? As we fellowship, like you just said, it could be in the setting of a church house institution, or
it could be in a club.
My favorite thing though is being outside.
Yeah.
That's me. Like I love being outside. I love fellowship, and I love going out there, just politicking. You know what I mean? Getting a good word from just people who don't look like a pastor or whatever the case may be, right? And then the other one is just like your homies, like us, like breaking bread together, teaching each other and kind of debating with each other, like what's real and what's not. You know what I mean? So all those, but because I am considered a Christian hip hop artist, I put it in a way to where people can understand it that are still in that institution. You feel me? And so as I put it out there, people still love that song today, but I can't really perform it like I want to. You know what I mean? It's just not the same for me. And when it comes to the church institution, that's what I'm saying.
Why though?
I've been behind the scenes, and I've seen a lot of ugly stuff behind the scenes, and I was raised in the church as well. You know what I mean? And so it gives me a lack of faith in man, which the word tells you man will fail you every time. And so at the end of the day, I just began to get my own fellowship right with God and who I know him to be over me. And then even the he word. But yeah, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel. Now, for you, we got ambiance events, right? Or the ambiance group. I perform at, I think, 2 of them. And are you now not going to do any in actual church? Or how does it look for you doing them in buildings of the church?
I think it depends on what it is. It just depends on the setting. I believe I like the going outside of the 4 walls. It's myself, because we recycle and we talk. We reach the same people. So if I reach further, then I can possibly influence people who would never step into church. People can say what they want to say about Kanye at Coachella, but they were singing gospel music. So 50,000 people that probably will never step foot into a church. I believe we are the church, number one. So let's go there. But into a institution, into the 4 walls of the iglesia or the temple or the tabernacle, whatever. They may not ever go, or the synagogue. They never go there. Yeah. But they heard a message of the good news. So I won't bash that. Yeah. You understand? No, now whatever else is going on with that, cool. But we got to be able to see the positives, and that for me is another thing that there's so much divide. You know, why can't there just be unity? Why can't we agree? You know, we agree when people pass away. You know, that's about the only time. You know, but So
I seen the church, or you know, because it's a difference, like you said, between the kingdom and the church. But I seen people that claim to be believers tear down Lecrae all the way down to the ground. And that really bothered me, because I'm in the same lane. We do the same thing. And I was like, so if I follow that, or, you know, if my heart is telling me to do that, that's how y'all gonna feel? All right, then I'm gonna go that route anyway, because that's where my heart is leading me.
So I believe that the message doesn't ever change. The message of Jesus dying, being crucified, and raising. You understand? That doesn't change. Yeah. The methods do. Absolutely. We're not, like, millennials are not our grandparents. You know what I mean? Like, the next generation, they're not that same. They're dealing with different things. They go to school. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't see transgender or gender identification. We didn't even see that in school. No. So they're dealing with something completely different. Yeah. They ask why. Yes, they do. You know, and they want to know why. They want to know explanation. Then they want you to be able to back up your why. So you got to have a hypothesis. You got to have things. You got to have it all. It all has to make sense. And so if we are trying to use old methodologies that are outdated, then we lose. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying with the old. Yeah. Trust me, because it had its place. Yep. And believe it or not, I believe it had power. And Trip, can I tell you something that may be crazy? Yeah. After that, we're going to go to commercial, but go ahead. Talk to me. Oh, well, we'll come back. Okay. No, talk to me. So think about it. Them burning the churches in the Louisiana, right? Yeah. The church, we don't go to church anymore. We stream church. Right. We do. Yeah. So what power did that really have? Yeah. You get me? So if we look at being able to reach people, like it didn't because our church, think about what our church used to be. It used to be our central place of gathering, rallies. It used to be the place where we saw examples of family. It used to be that. Yeah. Not anymore. It's not necessarily the center of our community or our nucleus anymore. No. So I don't think it held the y'all
Same power.
y'all burning our churches ain't really affecting us that much because if you do the research, we stream.
Yeah.
You understand New Birth, they had 600 members join and wasn't like, come on,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Right.
That's all.
Nah, I feel you on
No
that.
offense to anyone.
No, because the views expressed on this show are not. No. Hey, we about to go to commercial. We'll see you on the flip side of Hot Seat with Icy Jones in a minute.
So all my women out there, do you have a great idea but don't know how to go from an idea to a thriving business? Mommy Mogul University. Let's be honest. You created a business to be a mogul, to make money, and to change you and your family's life, right? Mommy Mogul University. Find them on Facebook at Mommy Mogul University. Visit their website at bit.ly/Mommy Mogul University. That's bit.ly/Mommy Mogul University. Also, give one of the reps a call at 725-999-2516. Mommy Mogul University, 725-999-2516. Mommy Mogul University. For women only. Discover your passion and define your business and much more. When in the greater West Las Vegas area, visit Bell's Market and Gas, located at 720 West Owens Avenue. Open 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. Dial 702-642-0269. That's 702-642-0269. Your neighborhood convenience store, Bell's Market and Gas. Affordable gas and liquor, and a kitchen serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Bell's Market and Gas, located at 720 West Owens Avenue. Again, open 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight. Dial 702-642-0269 for Bell's Market and Gas.
You want a low-key barbershop offering haircuts for adults and children, plus beard trims and a hot towel shave? Well, visit Unfadable Masters Barbershop, located at 3231 North Decatur Boulevard, Suite 128. In Las Vegas, Nevada, 89130. Open Tuesdays through Sunday. Yes, Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. 702-636-9499. Visit umbarbershop.com. That's umbarbershop.com. Praised in the Review Journal as one out of the 8 best places for barbecue in Las Vegas, TC's Barbecue Crib, 3655 South Durango Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89142. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Order online at tcsbarbecuecrib.com. That's tcsbbqcrib.com or call 702-451-RIBS. That's 702-451-7427. TC's Barbecue Crib. Yo, we back. It's your boy Icy Jones. Hot Seat with Icy Jones on hot7025fm.com with my homegirl, Erika Nicole of the Ambiance Group, the CEO of that thing. I asked her, I said, founder, and she said CEO. What does that mean for you, like, to be the CEO of your own company in this community?
It's a responsibility.
Okay.
I mean, I get the opportunity to serve, my community, to serve artists, to serve, aspiring. Like, I have an influx of authors right now on my roster.
Okay.
To be able to serve them, people trusting me with their visions. It's a responsibility.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It feels like a hefty responsibility.
Yeah, it's what you want, though, right?
No, absolutely. It's definitely my passion. It's definitely. I went to school for business.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily think that. I can't say that this is the vision I had of my life when I graduated college. I didn't. I mean, I just was like, okay, cool. I got through that. I was gonna go work for someone else and be content. I worked for Enterprise Rent a Car for 12 years. I managed some stores, and I realized that there were not many, especially in this state, managers that looked like me. So for a while, I took on the burden of trying to help diversity. I sat on boards for diversity. And then you get to a point where you're like, you know what? They may or may not ever accept, who we are, or they have a stigma, and that's fine. So I don't want to be an enterprise rent a car. Nope. But I definitely want to represent us, this Black Girl Magic in the marketplace. So I'll just do that. Thank you. I'll do that.
I got it. Hey, I'm sorry. I want to do a little short segment. This hat is from Triple T Clothing. This 80s baby shirt, Triple T Clothing, man. Shout out to the partners, man. So at the end of the day, what brought you to Vegas, though?
About 12 years ago, I moved here to help with the nonprofit. It was actually a church.
Okay.
I was moved here. The church that I had been at, Bishop Clarence McClendon's church in Los Angeles. We had been there for 15 years.
Wow. I know who that is.
Yeah, so for 15 years, and then he did one of his sons in ministry came here.
Okay.
So I served. Believe it or not, I started doing events in Vegas through that church initially. And they were the building. They were gone by the time I launched Ambiance.
Okay.
But I went back to that building. It was a warehouse.
Wow.
And did my first Ambiance there.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
I feel it. Yeah, I visited that church a long time. That was my auntie's television ministry, I guess it was. That's where she
launched it.
No, she loved to watch him. That was her
I got
bishop.
you. Her bishop, her television bishop.
Yeah,
I got it.
You feel
okay.
me? And she would visit and go to the church physically, and then I went with her. I think once or twice.
Right.
Real dope dude. You still watch him? You still?
I do.
Support him?
I believe that I'm still spiritually a part.
Okay.
Because a lot of the things that I learned there.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned it. My foundation. When I told you about that period in college where I was like, okay, let me look at. Wait a minute, let me read this for myself. You know what I mean? God bless those who bless themselves. That's not the Bible.
Yeah.
It's
not.
Yeah, so when I came to those revelations and that knowledge, I was sitting under that ministry. So the very fiber, I think, of who I am spiritually, it roots. I mean, I was, obviously, I had been in the Church of God in Christ.
Right.
And I have, a church back home in Dallas. But, yeah, it's, yeah.
That's the spiritual
So I still watch
connected
it. I'm spiritually connected.
spot. Question I want to ask you, do you hear the voice of God?
I do.
What does it sound like to Erika?
The audible, the still small voice, it leads and guides me. I believe that. I don't want to get too deep. I don't know what the premise is, but I believe that we have. We were given the Holy Spirit. He says, "I go, but I send another," and so that Holy Spirit lives in me, and so that's the guiding. You understand? So I can't tell you. It's like James Earl Jones's voice, or I'm in production. So whenever you have a voiceover house. And you send someone on now introducing da 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 da, we call it the voice of God.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called on when you write out production stage. So my staging scripts, it'll say the voice of God.
Yeah.
I can't say it sounds like that.
Yeah.
But there is a small voice within.
Is it Erika's voice?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you have that feeling? Do you think your gut feeling, that intuition that women have, right? I think all of us do, but more women say that, compared to the voice of God, do you know the difference between the two? And
I believe that sometimes it's interchangeably. You just know. I mean, I don't know in my gut, but I think I rely on what I know in my spirit. You understand?
Yeah.
If I'm 3 parts, I'm spirit, soul, and body. I believe that my spirit tells me. And then there's confirmation. So even with me doing, say, events or me doing a certain event. So look at May 8th, or is it May 18th?
Yeah.
I literally was sitting somewhere and was like, crap, somebody called me. My MD called me. Tay called. And Tay was like, we not doing an ambiance this month? And I was like, let's look at the calendar, because this is our 7th year in May, and I wanted to do something big. And I was like, I'm going to chill and wait so I can do it the way I want to do it. I was like, all right, May 18th, right? I'm thinking that we just picked the date. I called Danny Boy. The spot is cool. We're good to push, right? 2 days later, I booked Brittany Soul. She was going to host for me. And she's like, oh, Just Flow is going to call you because she wants to collaborate. And the date that she wants to collaborate is what? May 18th. Yeah. You understand? So it's those types of things that we coin or we credit to coincidence a lot of times.
Right.
I believe that is, yeah.
I feel it. So give us the events one more time.
Okay, so And I'm gonna take some walk-ins either earlier in the day. I got in the 11 o'clock hour. I think I have one spot, but overall that event is sold out. It's the headshot party. We're doing that at Nehemiah. Literally, we got a photographer, Jay Hooks, and we're gonna shoot. People will get 3 shots, so he's gonna shoot them probably 10 times.
But you can pick 3 shots.
Yeah, he's gonna send you your hottest 3. You know, and then I'll be able to really get one-on-one with some business owners and some creatives and find out how I can better help them in their branding efforts. You know, so what it did was it gave me an opportunity to open up the opportunity for one-on-one coaching, you know, through that. So that's May 4th. May 8th is May 18th, is Ambiance Lounge. It's vocal at Ambiance Lounge. And then May 25th is the headshot party in Northern California.
Okay.
So we took it to a studio that time.
You going to be out there?
Yeah, I'm flying out. And then June, we'll just say the 28th, we have another headshot party in Dallas, and that one will be in it won't be in a church. It'll be literally, they'll probably be, it'll be in a club type setting. It'll be 3 photographers. It'll be makeup artists. Because some people don't ever get the opportunity to experience what a photo shoot feels like. You know, so sometimes when we're beautiful within and we're beautiful outside, but sometimes when, you know, for some of my friends, I'll be like, girl, let's go play in makeup today. Let me take one of my good friends and we'll just go to the makeup artist and sit there. Where y'all going? Just to dinner, but just to feel beautiful on the outside too. You know, like I talked about earlier, sometimes having to remind yourself of who you are. Yeah. I think it's a meme of Lala, and it's before and after them surgeries, I think. And she was like, and the meme is like when you have to remind yourself of who you are. So I think that's to me is another way for the headshot party. It's like, okay, let's get glammed up and remember we used to do glamour shots, but without all the fur and the boas and stuff. Right. And this you can actually use for your image. Yeah,
do your thing.
So, yeah.
Now, what is one thing that you're teaching your children? What is one thing you could, you know, that's really dear to you that you make sure you drive home to your children?
That their personal brand is the most important thing that they own their name. So I make sure that their name is synonymous with whatever they want to represent. You know, so, you know, my son's a basketball player. My daughter, she's playing viola, but she loves music and the arts. And so outside of that, when it comes to your friends and the way you interact with your friends and your people at school, what is your name synonymous with? When they hear your name, what do they think? You know, so that to me is the most, you know, and even in naming them, you know, name is onoma in the Greek. It means nature, character, and authority. So what is your nature? You know, what characters do you portray? And
you
then
what break it down.
What authority do you have in the realms that you're called to? So, you know, that's probably the most important thing.
When you hear Icy Jones, what do you think?
I think creative. I think visionary. I think artist. I think message, because I believe that you have a very important message. Those are. Cry. Oh, knock it off.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah. So when we gonna get together? We supposed to get together. You said you're gonna lead me to some water so I can drink. What's happening?
Yeah, we will definitely sit down. We can sit down and figure out what and we have to be okay with knowing that. Like for me, I had to be okay with knowing I'm not the same person I was 8 years ago. So I think it's important that you embrace your vision and your mission from this place. If you try to do it from where you were, then it got you to where you are now. And so now to get you catapulted to the next place, you got to be able to embrace it with who you are right now. Yeah. And so, I mean, I would like to be able to sit down and talk to Icy Jones, the evolved Icy Jones. And I remember, didn't you change your name for a while?
Yeah, it was for an album. Absolutely. I wanted people to not put me on a pedestal, because I'm not this glamorous Icy Jones. Like, I have a real life behind that, and that's RJ Ishmael. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one that my family know, the one that, you know, they know my struggles and my issues. And I just felt like people were putting me up there, and I was just like, I don't want that. I am the boy next door. You know what I mean? So I just, like, gave them my all. I just wanted to be naked in front of everybody. Like, yo, stop trying to put me in a position because I don't want to be in that position. You know what I mean? So, and it wasn't necessarily running or anything. It's just actually embracing that I do have flaws and I am, real. Because I don't know, I feel like people were thinking that I was something that I wasn't. So I just wanted to let them know I am who I am. You feel me?
Right.
So that's what that was about. Absolutely. But for you, I'm thankful that, you are in Vegas, you doing your thing, you back, and how long were you gone, so to speak?
Probably like 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, physically.
Yeah.
Mentally, like a year. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when it and again, I wanted to go back to that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the most devastating situation for you in that time?
I don't think you understand. Like, everything was stripped. Like, there was no, everything was stripped. So everything I had to strip down to everything and be like, okay, who am I really? Outside of what people think I am, outside of any accolades, or outside of any accomplishments, who did God really create Erika to be? And that's what it was. Yeah. What?
I feel you. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I've never been in that position. But when you said Icy, I don't think you understand. You made me understand. For sure.
Like, yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It hurt because, you're people that you think, they called you to come and do their thing, or they wanted to tag you on Facebook one day and, can you promote this, or can you do this, or can you endorse this, or whatever. Them same people acted as if you didn't exist. And you're like, whoa. It humbles you. It makes you be like, okay, listen, I'm nothing anyways. So it makes me approach life from the standpoint of a servant.
Yeah.
And I would never, if that's what I had to go through to get to this, then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change that for anything, because who was really being edified in that?
Did people feel like you were tainted or something? Like you had a stain on you or something?
I don't even care. I mean, I think so, but I don't care.
Right.
It's like, hey, listen, you make mistakes too.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all fall short, and that's no excuse, but like,
that's the point though.
Yeah, unapologetically. Like, I can honestly tell you I don't care. I think that it made me realize that I had a responsibility and people watching.
Mm-hmm.
We forget that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, legit, I came up here, I did a show, and there was a photographer here. She took a picture. I posted on my Instagram, and then a publication hit me up and was like, hey, can we post this picture?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that they're like,
watching.
We want to post this, and then we want to do an interview with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. And I watched this same publication come up on my feed, and I'm like, oh, these are dope. These people are dope. And and when I had to sit and look at my email again, like, what?
Yeah.
So you never know. And so that's the responsibility of our character and our nature for the platform. If influence is a realm that I live in. So if I know that there are people watching now, that should govern outside of me knowing what's right and wrong. That should govern my actions.
So do you have a but God situation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there something that sticks out more than others? I'm sure that's why situations, but have you had a situation where you could say it was but God?
I need a new but God shirt. But anyways,
coming for Mother's Day, they'll be here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was this is what ended up leading to me leaving initially leaving my corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
The one I thought I'd retire from. So basically, I was sick. I had a sinus infection. Didn't know that my white blood count wasn't fighting the infection.
I talked to you during this time.
Yeah, I was sick, like ICU sick. I was in ICU for 5 days at Summerlin Hospital with 5 different antibiotics dripping into my body.
Yeah.
And the doctors didn't know. They didn't know what was causing it. They couldn't. They didn't. And I remember being in and out of sleep. I remember them doing a spinal tap.
Jesus.
And for 5 days.
Yeah.
And so I got out. I saw an oncologist for probably a year without really telling anybody. They were taking vials of blood, and they finally were like, they wanted to go into to do a going to my bone marrow, and I was like, "Yep, I'm good. I'll be all right, guys. Everything's fine. Just calm down, okay? Everything's fine." And that I can't attribute that. I'm healthier now. You know, I mean, I was pumped on steroids, so obviously it was an influx in my weight. I got to figure out how to fix that. You know what I mean? Okay. And that was my bug eye situation.
Got it.
That was it for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the guy the antibiotics was cleaning out the old Erika.
When was this?
Shit was a mess. This is probably about
16.
this is a few years ago.
Yeah. I think I remember that. That's crazy.
So that was my bug guy situation.
Absolutely. We're gonna get you a new one. You're absolutely right. All right, so look, man, we appreciate you for stopping through. We need everybody to head down to Legends on May 18th.
Yep.
Of course, that's Danny Boy's spot. And make sure you go follow her, Erika Nicole. Do you have an ambiance group page?
No, it's everything goes to my personal page.
Everything goes to my personal page.
Erika Nicole,
Right.
ErikaNicole 82.
Oh, that's what the last.
Yeah,
I wanted to know why. Is there a reason you use an A instead of E? Because when I looked up the word, it's both. Is there a reason, or you just wanted you like the A better?
I like the A, and I mean, I could have played with the E.
Could have.
I could have, but
it's too late.
I read. Starbucks has changed their logo multiple times. Like we don't know what.
I got you.
So I mean, my website is we're actually about to relaunch it. So yeah. No.
Okay.
But thank you for having me. I think that.
Absolutely.
I mean, thank Hot, 7025 for having me. This has been great.
Yeah. Definitely.
Appreciate it.
So follow her. Get those tickets. It's tickets, right?
It's on
Okay.
Eventbrite.
Okay, Eventbrite, and then they're taking walk-ins for the photo shoot.
We are.
How many? About 5.
I don't know.
About 3.
Because initially my goal was 10, and we booked 27 appointments. So I want to hit 30.
Lord.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. So look,
Thank you.
man, y'all tapped and tuned into Hot Seat with Icy Jones on Hot 7025. I have my special guest Erika Nicole. I'm extremely happy. We had a great show today. Make sure you share it with somebody. Make sure you comment. Let her know what's up. And if you felt her, let her know. Holla at your boy. It's Icy Jones. I'll see y'all next week on Thursday morning, 11 a.m. Peace.